All right, we are back, and there is nothing like having a blind lawyer whoop your ass and still see you in court with no questions asked.
Hey, Laney.
Laney, we can hear you.
Laney, put it. There you go. All
there you go.
You're amazing, and we love you. However, that's scary.
Mm-hmm. She had the mama voice on full blast.
I felt it. I just got it's like,
All I heard was death and God of War drums. So somebody's in trouble.
So, episodes 2 and 3 of Daredevil Born Again premiered. Are they doing 2 episodes tonight? I can't remember. I know they got another Tuesday where they're doing 2 episodes.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know right now. Hold on.
But you gotta say, the gang is back. This show has not disappointed me since it's one episode was set. This show has not disappointed me in the fact that everything that they're doing is they're back to form.
Yep.
Number one, I didn't know it was 10 years since the last one.
Oh wow!
I said you're lying. You're lying. There's no way it's been 10 years.
Cool. It feels like it's been longer.
It has felt like it's been longer when you sit back and say it's been 10 years. No, it hasn't. They got canceled like 3 years ago. What are you talking about?
Wrong answer, ladies and gentlemen. Wrong answer.
So
when you say time is a construct.
I swear, 2020 was a son bitch, and that's whew. But
right.
Going into episode 2, which is right after the whole thing with Foggy, spoiler alert, and everything that's going down, this is more of a setup for Wilson Fisk and everything he's doing. And I'll be damned, you know, as much as we know what the Kingpin's about. However, he's using. At first, it seems like I need to be on the straight and narrow. He's trying to get away from that life. You know, he mentions that he's been pretty much stabbed in the back or shot in the face before, and he wants to go the straight. He wants to go that straight arrow route. However, he has told Matt in a nice little coffee session. Yeah, don't put the suit back on. Else I'm gonna have, if that's your ass. Which he's like, if you do put it back on, I'm coming for you.
In the most nicest, threatening way possible.
Yeah. So, but he also uses some of his street knowledge to get things across, which, in a sense, being in a politician's role, is that so surprising?
Suits him like a freaking glove, don't it? I love the. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to actually go to you first anyway. So, starting with episode 2, we're not getting to 3 yet. Let's start with episode 2. What was your thoughts? Like, what were some moments that like really kind of stood out, and you were just like, "Damn, okay, we here now."
Oh, where it's funny where the assistant tried to tell him about optics. I'm like, he understands optics very well, but I love how he uses two ways to actually explain how you use optics. First one was the pothole. He's like, why y'all guys over here? Why don't y'all just fill this up? Oh, well, you know, red tape, all this stuff. Well, red tape approved. I'm the mayor. Guys go over there, fill it up. What does he get? Half of New Yorkers watch this man go over there and literally supervise getting a pothole filled up. And he goes to the girl, goes to the assistant, says, "Is that what you mean by optics?" And she's like, she nods her head. And of course, the second one, good old police chief, decides he wants to quit and says, you know, me and so-called all these squad, we're all going. So, you know, I never liked you. You're always an animal. You're never gonna be the mayor we want you to be. What does he do? gets New Wesley to smooth slide him a nice little photo and says, I don't think you want this to be out. So you're just gonna pretend that you never sent me this resignation letter and about your pay, about your overtime, about your new recruits. Yeah, no. And he's like, well played, motherfucker. And he moves on. So those two things where it's funny where they're trying to tell Fisk about the importance of optics. And I just want him to sit there and go, you do know I am the kingpin, right? If I breathe, somebody in Queens gets shook. You understand the level of power I have. But it's funny where he kind of takes this subtle approach to like, I know what you want. I know you're here for no reason, but I got it. That kind of thing.
It's funny how he uses that. Because he learns quick. He catches on extremely quick. He's no slouch, when it came to that. And he's like, he's used to just, I say it gets done, boom. And that's how I was when I was in the streets. Now I'm in the public eye. What do you mean optics?
I do miss when I was the boy. I do miss when I was the boy monologue though.
Yeah. So he's like, he's like, just like you said with the pothole situation. I said everything he said wasn't wrong. He's like, the guys are saying, yeah, we're waiting on this red tape to clear. He's like, you know what? I'm the mayor. Go ahead, fill it up. Because he's right. It's gonna come to him eventually. Just clear it out now. We'll worry about the BS later. It needs to be done. Let's get it done. And he happened to notice people were there because he's there. So they pulling out their phones. And he's like, work it in my favor.
Pretty much.
Let's work it in my favor. So at which point I'm like, he's realizing the tactics he's used to move in the underworld are pretty much the same tactics he can use in the public eye as a public servant, so to speak.
I don't know what you mean.
I would venture to say much simpler because he literally has not had to pull a trigger on anybody yet.
That part. That part.
Yeah, it's y'all making shit way harder than it needs to be. Get the shit. You gonna get paid one way or the other, right? Get this shit done. Let's go. What are we doing?
I just love the fact he gets a new Wesley, but we can't call him Wesley. I keep on calling him New Wesley. His name is something else, but I'm like, dude, you Wesley. Yeah. You basically just slid into the position of the right hand man. That's all you are.
He's so known. Tony Soprano.
You are the new Wesley.
Yeah.
My name is. Your name is Wesley.
I wondered how they were going to do since Ben Urich passed was unceremoniously taken out in the original series. It was cool to see that his daughter, I think it's his daughter, B.E.V, takes it over, and I'm like, okay, this can work. This can work, and he's using that.
Wait, no, his niece. It's his niece.
That's his niece?
Okay. Niece, not his daughter. I'm sorry.
It is. Okay. And he's using that to his advantage as well because he sees something. He's like, she's very much a person that really is going to go for her own self. She's like her uncle, so he's like, but I can use that. Before when it was Ben, I need you to stay out of my business. You're messing up money. You're doing things I can't have you doing. You exposing things you ain't got no business exposing. This time around, he can use her skill set to his advantage and say, you know what? If she sees that I'm handling business, she's not going to have any choice but to present that positive side of what I'm doing. I'm making sure stuff is getting done. You can't find any dirt on me. The stuff that Vanessa is doing, he's kept it so far from he said, no, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what she's doing. And the stuff that's going on with me and my wife, we're practically separated, but working on a marriage. So I don't know what she's doing. So he plausible deniability pretty much.
Yep.
So it's I like where they're going with it. Go ahead, Lady Mandalore.
I'm very curious about this dynamic between Vanessa and him. She's I can't tell if she's fully out of the underworld or not.
I don't think she is.
Mm-mm.
But
I think she has. When it comes to Vanessa, Fisk is gonna fold like laundry. That's what it is.
I don't know about that. She fucking up with his plans. He has a plan, and she keeps trying to do what she
But-
was left to
but
take care of.
You saw how quiet she got when he was like, "I'm not here to replace you, but what I'm trying to do, what's going on right here, cannot be connected to me in any way." You saw how quiet she got. She's like, "I'm not trying to replace you. You can still do whatever it is you're doing, but it can have no ties to me whatsoever." So Vanessa still wants to still keep her role, but old boy's like, "I want my wife. You can be Kingpin. I just need the wife back."
I don't think he's saying that. I think he's saying, "Bitch, stop it! Like you are attached to me. Like you cannot touch. You can't touch that at all."
He's saying, he's saying the thing what you're doing can't come back to haunt us, because it's like especially the thing in episode 3 about that situation where she decides to make that decision, and he's looking at her like, "That's something I wouldn't have done, but I understand why you did it." Because in his mind, he's like, "Why am I doing this? I'm going to do the old-fashioned way. We're going to just express ask your elevator to the Hudson River." But just saying.
It's just some of the things that you could tell he's trying to move the right way.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's using some tactics from his old ways that can benefit him. Anybody would. If they were smart, anybody would do that.
Yeah,
And then,
Laney.
I honestly see him as Trump 2.0 in a sense. Like he feels like he's the one that can do everything right and only he can do. That's number one. Number two, didn't he put the hit on White Tiger?
No, we don't know.
We don't know. Well,
I don't think so.
I don't know yet. We haven't gotten to that one yet. We have
heavily implied.
I may have overstepped my bounds when I said that. I'm assuming
we didn't get to episode 3 yet, but
okay, no.
We just know that he's setting up this anti-vigilante campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
but that's to protect himself. Yeah. I don't think it's really to protect the city. That's just really
no, not at all.
Oh no. That's vendetta action. That's what that is. The fact that he says the man that has horns on his mask, a guy that's running around like a spider, and he has a vendetta. So that's a revenge tactic. He's like, if I can outlaw these people, and he's using the fact that I've been harmed by a vigilante. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
There's pieces of him is starting to the old hymns is showing up.
The old hymns.
The old hymns. Because you can't keep that son of a bitch down long.
Old hymns.
It's what he is. It's when he has so much opposition, and like I said, that's a job that's going to have a lot of pressure.
And at the same time, you have folks sit there saying you will never be. It's like going back to Police Chief when he had to sit there and say you're never going to be Mayor Kingpin. When you're getting references back to your old self and you're trying to change, it's like, see, why you maybe go back to the old me?
I wasn't trying to do this. I wasn't trying to be here. This is not what I was trying to do, and you making this at now. In the meantime, why he's dealing with the stuff with Vanessa and dealing with being a mayor and everything else, Matt has Hector on trial, who's the White Tiger, and I can't remember the actor's name, but he actually has passed away from cancer, so he wasn't going to be in the series long anyway, considering how everything has been set up in the first place. But he's dealing with trying to clear his client, make sure he's like, hey, this dude did not kill a cop. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. This was completely a complete accident. So he sends Cherry out to do the job. Find out what you can about this guy, which this part was weird. You and the DA go to Hector's house, talk to his wife, and Cherry just freely starts walking around the apartment and finds the white tiger outfit. And I'm like, dude, like, I just thought that was weird that he could just freely do that. Like, mind if I look around? And she's just like, yeah. Huh? That's odd to me.
You just said the DA. That wasn't the DA. That was his
partner. Yeah.
That was his attorney. That to me made sense because that's his attorney.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Well, Cherry's not the attorney. He's
working with.
But he's part with the team. He's part of the team.
He's working with her. He's the right guy. So that makes.
And I just thought it was weird that he would, can I look around? What are you looking around for? That part of it I found weird.
Black radar that's ticking in.
Yeah.
The black vote wouldn't be like, why are you looking at my house?
And why didn't you just call me down to your office? Why are you in my house in the first place?
Yeah,
we already know that white radar isn't always working properly.
We ask questions. We got questions.
Hashtag FAAFO.
So, but Cherry finds the mask. He finds the outfit of the white tiger, and he doesn't bring it into Matt, but he does bring it into Matt. You don't physically see him bring it in, but he does inform Matt about this. In the meantime, Matt has found out about the two cops that were involved with the original thing that got Hector locked up in the first place, or on trial in the first place. And he traces the one that's still alive because, he traces him. He just kind of follows him. And he gets back to the person that Hector was trying to save, and he took off in episode 1. He found him. He found the witness. He found the apartment and everything else. So he's telling him, hey, you got to get out of here. You should be here. And he can hear the cops coming. He can hear the two guys coming. They're not in cop uniform or anything else. That's his name, Kamar De Lo Reyes. That's his name, Kamar De Lo Reyes. Thanks, Mal. And he says, you got to go. You need to leave. And he tells him to go meet his partner, Cherry. He says, go meet him at this warehouse, blah, 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 blah. He'll take care of you, blah, blah, blah. Cop shows up. And they try to put it down, and Matt's trying to play the role because, technically, yes, he's blind, but they don't know anything else. They just figure he's blind. But they use the bullying tactic.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, Matt whoops their ass. There's just no other way to put it.
So would you say they use it or they tried to use it?
They tried to use it. They tried to think, oh, he's blind. We'll just beat him. They're
gonna kill him.
Yeah, they were gonna kill him.
They were laying hands on this blind man for absolutely no reason.
Yeah,
he was really blind. This would have been a hate crime on some level. That is terrible. It is terrible.
When he whoops they ass. I was like, yeah, that's pent up frustration, ain't it, Matt? Go ahead. Just, they was wrong.
Kick him in the ding ding. That's what we did earlier. Several times.
At which point, I thought he actually broke the one guy's neck the way he.
That's what I thought. Yes. That's what it looked like.
Yes.
Your neck ain't supposed to bend like that when you standing on your neck.
Yes. Yes.
There's some flexibility in the Marvel universe.
It's gonna be sore in the morning, and then we go into episode 3, and they have the witness on the stand, mind you. These people are trying to kill the witness that Cherry has. And they got him in his van and everything else, but they gave everybody the slip because when they stopped him, the cops stopped him, and Cherry shows his badge because even though he's retired, he's still cop mode. And he shows his badge, and the cop says, "Get out the car." And he gets out the van and checks the back of the van. There's no witness. They already gave the cops the slip to get him to the courthouse. One, on time, and two, safe. You know, so he gets there. Problem is, the witness folds. The witness folds, and the fact that he folds, that throws the entire case out the damn window. At which point, Matt has no choice, which I thought was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
That he uses the whole white tiger angle. He's like, "Are you the white? So you mean to tell me you're not the white tiger?" He basically just airs him out, and I'm like, "Damn, it's kind of messed up to air this dude out like that."
Especially with him being who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, that's kind of foul, dude. Like, but he had to pivot his case because now he's trying to say, you know, he's saying if he's this vigilante that has gone out to help people, how can he have killed a cop? At which point you had several witnesses saying, yeah, the white tiger, he saved me. You know, our car caught on fire and this guy came out of nowhere. Several cops have said this man saved us. He helped us out. He helped us apprehend somebody. You know, so it made him look. He's not the careless vigilante. He's not the Punisher.
But from a lawyer standpoint, he tainted the jury. I was like, from a lawyer standpoint, you kind of pulled a foul card.
He said it. It's a hell of a play, but it worked. You know, so Laney, we didn't get your point of view. What did you think from episodes 2 up until the point of them talking about him being White Tiger?
I mean, like I said, I really, first of all, actually getting the witness who folded to there, I was scared. I actually thought he was going to be in that van. So when he wasn't, I was like, I literally held my breath, but I digress. First off, that beating was brutal.
And deserved.
And that's the only way that I just was like, I held on to it because I'm usually not that person. I sometimes looked away when Punisher did his thing because I'm just like, it's a little bit too realistic for me. I even just saw Invincible, the season finale, and that was crazy. But this is peak of what we need right now as catharsis, first of all, because it just brings everything. It just makes the noise of whatever is going on outside go away. I wish DareDevil actually was in real life right now because sometimes we need him.
Hey, Frank Castle, got a job for you.
And this is why the Punisher is necessary.
But I really did like the court case. I thought that him actually twisting and not testifying or saying that, oh, I'm just gonna act like I don't know what you're talking about, and then again, like you said, having him go as a white tiger, I thought that was really genius. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to say something, but then it goes into the last part of the episode that I always talk about. Well, we didn't talk about it yet, so I'm gonna shut up for that.
So, last part of it. So, obviously, Hector is found innocent of all charges. But before he's found innocent, there is a line that Matt tells the one cop who he gave a black eye to. Like, he whooped your ass the night before, and he getting your ass on the stand. This is funny because he says, officer such and such. He said, I understand you have a black eye. He's like, all right, it's all right. He says, well, I heard the cure to having a black eye is having fast hands. And I'm like,
shit. Wow.
I ain't never seen one person want to fire on a blind man so bad, but it's like,
bruh.
So Matt got bars on top of that.
Matt talk cash shit for real though.
He wasn't wrong though.
No.
Nope.
Not at all.
Not at
It's like
all.
all you can do, you can just sit in the audience and be like, he's got a point. He ain't wrong. So
Damn.
he said that all it took me a minute to come down because I laughed out loud at that. I cackled at that one. I'm like, that's a your ass kid. So once that's done, Hector is found innocent. Now he's told that he can't go out dressed as White Tiger again. He can't do it.
And what does he do?
And
Right.
Sure as fire.
We already know the answer to that question.
He does it. And he's out, he's doing his patrol, he hears a woman scream. He obviously went to go help her because it looked like the scene was a little different. And then as he's jogging to wherever he's going off, and he stops and takes a light walk, somebody just steps out of the shadows. Pop! One to the side of the head.
Mm-hmm.
And as that person is walking towards the camera, they have a Punisher vest on.
Do not believe it at all.
No, I don't believe it.
Mm.
My wife was like, "Why would?" And I'm like, "That ain't Frank.
That
That ain't his MO.
Not a
That
day.
That
is
ain't."
day
Yeah.
in his life, like Frank.
I had to say the same thing in my household. It's not Frank. And and my son, and I love, this is the proud moment I have when my sons do something. I just have this proud moment. My son goes, "No, because the Punisher already sat there and said to these cops, if you ever do this shit, you're gonna get fucking dead."
He said that. Word for
Now I
word?
had to stop myself because he's 12.
Did you add words into his exclamation? Did you add words, Father?
No, because he had because I'll give him credit because he sat there and said, "Well, Dad showed me in the comic where the Punisher was talking about, because I had this report. Remember that police report about those Punishers on cops I did in school?" My wife's like, "I didn't do that." I was like, "Shh. Well, we all for be in trouble tonight." So anyway, long story short, he references the comic to where Punisher gets approached by cops. Cops are saying, "Oh no, we believe half the police force hates you, but the rest of us, no, we love you. We even have your insignia on our jackets, on our vests, on our police cars." Of course, Frank's like, "Rip shit up. You guys are not me. You guys swore to hold up the law. You guys swore to protect and serve. I didn't do that. So if I ever catch you trying to be me, I will take you out. You want an idol? Go to Captain America." So
Exactly.
my son decided to sit there and say the other part. But no, I was proud of him, not of the choice of words, but he understood. He's like, "No, this isn't going to be Frank." And he said the next episode, Frank finna come up. Frank finna just lose it, to where my wife is still confused to this day.
Because, and you're right. Like when it happened, literally, I was like, "Oh, but that ain't Frank." And I was just like, that's the first thing I said. Like, wasn't expecting it, but that ain't him. And that's all I said. They're going to have this anti-vigilante task force.
And the funny part is, when I went, if you actually go back, you see the cop that actually has the Punisher tattoo on his neck and on his
wrist. On his wrist.
I think a couple of them have a tattoo.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just that person.
Oh, it's gonna wind up being. It's where I love where they're gonna. This is the part where they take from Devil's Reign. I like is where they take this NYPD section that they call themselves the Punisher unit, just because you can identify them by their tattoos. Which I'm kind of hoping they do add this in the series, because if they do, Frank gonna have a good old time.
They are working on a Punisher. I don't want to say special, but they are working on a Punisher. I don't even want to say series. It's
a special.
And let's just say, like, oh, we need some Franks right now.
You thought Moon Knight was twisted. Frank makes Moon Knight look well adjusted.
This is going to already. This show has just in 3 episodes has managed to say we're back. Well, 4 now, but we're back. You have nothing to worry about, and enjoy the ride. Like everybody's coming back at this point. Well, you already got John Baratheon all coming back as Punisher. They said Kristen Ritter has been. They're filming season 2 now.
This is why I say all the Defenders are back.
Yeah.
Every one of them, including Mr. Jones himself, have all went radio silent, which means that NDAs have been signed.
Also, ran into him a couple of weeks ago.
See, really, Kira?
Milk Chocolate Thunder. Yeah, baby.
Doggone it, Lainey. Stop it.
I'm not like us anyway, so it don't matter.
I was walking
Why would
outside.
it
I
be
said,
with
Mr.
a
Coulter,
friend?
and he stopped, and I said, oh, look at you. How are you doing? Oh my God.
you did it like that?
I can see Kira doing that.
Yes.
Maybe a little less hair flippage, but yeah, no. I said, hello, Mr. Coulter. Hello.
I know that was that was Max head flippage right there. That was hair.
Yeah, that she was flipping that hair. You can already tell.
Leave it to my second in command that come across anyone in the grand old city of New York.
The most random of occurrences. God, he's so
Yes.
he cleaned up good. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. Now immediately, milk dud, beard, Coulter.
Great. He's not that underground. He's done other stuff.
No, he's done other stuff, but you know, people
In the West Village, ain't nobody looking for that black man. Ain't nobody looking for that black man. I promise you. I assure you.
if you run into anyone else in that particular universe, that will solidify everything.
Yeah. Oh, we know defenders are going to be coming back in some way.
Look, she's thinking, did I run into Kristen Ritter?
Did you run into anybody else?
No, she's gonna be uptown. I'll never see her. I'll never see her down there. She'll be closer to Daredevil's area if anything, but she don't need to be down there. She don't need to be down there. She's not.
I was gonna say if you run into two more, that just solidified.
I mean, they have mentioned Harlem's Paradise on Daredevil, like as a poster, so it's not like it does exist.
Acknowledgement is always.
Hopefully, Danny Rand will actually act like Iron Fist instead of Danny Rand acting like a high school kid.
It doesn't have to be Danny.
Again, has they contacted Donnie Yen, Sammo Hung, Jet Li? I mean, the man is still kicking, but he can still teach. That's all I'm saying.
Hell, so can Jackie.
Jackie Chan will teach. I'm just pointing out, actual martial artists you could
I'm going to just put this out there. Finn Jones, you have the look. You did not train. You failed this city.
Wow.
Don't do that.
However,
don't do that.
Don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
However, if there is a second chance on board for you, you need to contact any of those individuals we just mentioned, because damn it,
you're supposed to be
call Kiwai Kwan. Call him up. Anybody.
I know outside of Shang-Chi, you're supposed to be the strongest martial artist in the MCU. Arguably.
Simeon Wu is a martial artist.
Yeah.
You would never know that from Netflix. Okay.
You're arguably in the MCU, because there's always a debate who's the better martial artist between him and Shang-Chi. That's the argument. Who is the best martial artist in MCU? It always comes down to those two.
That's because Netflix don't give a damn.
And the thing is, Shang-Chi is the master of Kung Fu.
Yep.
Danny Rand is just the immortal Iron Fist. There's a difference. Shang-Chi can fight. You give him a weapon. He's a living weapon.
And he doesn't even have the divine weapons or the 10 rings.
Nope.
That tells you a lot. This man was bad without the divine weapons.
Exactly.
So he's like he is a living, breathing weapon. Danny Rand just happened to learn Kung Fu and master a certain style.
Sir, you just happen to sneak attack a dragon. That's all that is. You sneak attack a dragon in God's powers.
That's it. Like, you can fight, and you've learned some stuff along the way, but you are not the master of Kung Fu. That's why Shang-Chi has that title, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu.
But we are asking, Mr. Jones, please do not let your co-stars usurp you. Although Daughters of the Dragon, that should have been a series on its own. It really should have. But just saying, not everybody else in your own show.
Feige, you
should
still
be
have an
more-
opportunity to get that. Get those ladies back in there, please.
Misty Knight's still available. That's all I'm saying. She's still available.
Please give us a Daughters of the Dragon. If you give us,
Yeah.
We don't ask for a whole lot, damn it. Just give us some shit, please.
We don't even bully you like Snyder fans. We ask nicely.
yeah, do like you've done it with everyone. And call them up. Just say, hey, what are you doing right now? You busy? Good. Tell you what, want to come back?
I mean, bring back the Purple Man. Bring back David Tennant as the Purple Man. You can do it.
Which would be absolute fire too.
Yeah.
He's just doing radio versions of Doctor Who. I'm sure he's available.
Even Nuke. You can bring back Nuke. I mean, Chicago Fire's still going on, but he's got a break. Chicago Fire doesn't play all the time. He got a break.
No. So, just from what we've seen so far, though, this show is back to form. Like it never lost a step. Vincent D'Onofrio has stated that he's glad that they went back and kind of continued from the original run, because he's because just like you bring back the original cast and then you do a totally different thing separate of whatever, it doesn't make sense. He's glad that they went back to form and said, no, just continue. It's another adventure. Even though this is a season 1, quote unquote, it's another adventure.